On the evening of August 30th, 2025, I had zero intentions of gambling. However, a single phone call would alter the course of my personal history. What's up, playa? It is I, Sebar Wise, and today I'm going to be gambling here at Gamora. However, I will also be telling you the story, my first time ever going to a casino, my first experience at the casino. Now, the story begins. Now, originally, like I said in the intro, I had zero intentions of gambling on this night, mainly because I met up with one of my homies. If you guys watched one of my previous videos, his alias on this channel is Chupis. I met up with Chupis and I was gonna hang out with him. However, he wasn't really in the mood for hanging out, so I kind of just showed up to his place, and he was gonna go over to the bathroom. He was gonna do his business in the bathroom. You feel me? And to pass the time, I decided to hit up one of my homies. Now, for this story, he has not been mentioned on the channel previously, but for this story, we are going to address this fella as Popper, okay? And that alias will become relevant sooner rather than later. Relatively sooner, I should say. So stick around. I hit up Popper, right? I ring his cellular, if you will. I ring his cellular. And, I'm asking him, I'm just making some casual conversation. I'm like, yo, what you up to right now? And he goes on to tell me, oh, bro, like, we're over here in the cities. Your brother's over here. We got a whole group of guys right now. We're at the amusement park, but later on in the night, we're gonna head over to the casino. And I'm like, what, the casino? Like, no way. Like, I'm over here like kind of mind blown because I have no idea that these guys were interested in gambling. Anyways, I make a little joking remark if I should, go over to the cities, because for me, the city is like a 3-hour drive. And mind you, while I'm making this phone call, at the time it was like around 7:30 p.m., 8 p.m., somewhere around there. The sun was going down, okay? And, I'm over here contemplating whether I should go or not. Oh shit, I should not have done that. But if I should go, oh, look at that, I won. If I'm contemplating if I should go or not, and I'm joking with him like, oh, should I go, should I not go? And then he's like, fuck yeah, dude, you should totally pull up. And I was like, oh, like, he really wants me to go, maybe I should. It did not take me that long to come to the conclusion that I was going to go. Okay, it was such an impulsive decision, but I went through with it in the end. I was just like, okay, well, I gotta head home, I gotta pack a change of clothes, I gotta get a few things, and then I'll be on the road. And he's like, all right, dude, just let me know when you get here and we'll meet up with you. So I tell Chupis, by the time I'm finished up with this phone call, Chupis comes down from the bathroom, and I tell him the bad news. I'm like, dude, I gotta go, like, I'm be heading over to the cities, like Popper's over there, a whole bunch of other guys are over there. I'm gonna go meet up with them. And he's like, I'm asking him like, is that cool? And he's like, sure, dude. Like, just go on, just go ahead. I don't really care too much. So I dab him up. I head over to my place. I gather my things that I'm going to take to the city. At the time, my car didn't have any insurance, so I couldn't take my car. So I end up taking my stepdad's car. And he lets me, which is very cool of him. Shout out to my stepdad for letting me borrow his car and letting me go to the city and gambling with the boys. So yeah, I make the drive over to the city, and as I'm nearing the city, I call Popper and I'm like, yo, like, where should I meet you guys at? And he's like, he tells me that we're gonna meet up at the casino. So yeah, I meet up with them, and dude, this place is jam packed. There were so many cars. We had to park like a whole other parking spot. No, not like a parking lot, I should say. A whole other parking lot away. We had to make quite the walk. Yeah, I meet up with Popper and his homies. The homie that he was with, his name, we're gonna give him the alias of Native because he's part Native. So yeah, actually no, there's two of them. It's a brother duo. So it's Native 1 and Native 2. Native 1, actually no, fuck, they both have glasses. Whatever, they're just gonna be Native 1 and Native 2. But yeah, I meet up with Popper, Native 1 and 2. And you know, they're good company, right? I have no issues with these fellas. While we're like on our way to the casino, like the actual interior of the casino, Popper's showing me this bag of pills that that he has, right? I'm not gonna say which pills he's got. Yeah, he's showing me. He's like, yo, Seb, like, do you want any of these? And I'm like, nah, dude, I'm good. You enjoy though. I mean, it was kind of tempting because you know at the time, um, well, even still now speaking to you, I have not tried any of these pills that he's got on him, or that he had on him, I should say. I've not tried any of them. And quite frankly, because I had to drive that night, I wasn't going to be intoxicated driving, you know what I'm saying? I was not going to be an irresponsible driver, especially with a vehicle that is not my own. But anyways, we head inside the actual casino itself, and this place is like the most bonkers place I have ever seen. Like there's machines everywhere, there's screens galore, right? But like we weren't I personally was not interested on tapping on no screen like an old head, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I want to play something more like this, blackjack, you know what I'm saying? So we go over to the blackjack tables and we start playing blackjack. Now, originally like I said in the intro, I had no intentions of gambling. However, Popper, he was just like, Seb, you don't want to gamble? And I was like, nah, dude, I'd rather just watch. And then he's like, no, dude, like it's okay. I'll give you $20, and you know, you don't have to pay me back. Don't even worry about it. Like you can just, you know, I'll give you money. It's fine. You can gamble. And I'm like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, man. It's really not a big deal. So I gamble with his money, with his $20 that he so graciously lent me. Yeah, we're just playing blackjack, and you know, at first, because again, it's my first time, and you know, Native 1 and 2, including Popper, they're all like, oh, well, you know, since it's your first time, you're gonna have beginner's luck, dude, like, it's real. And I'm like, okay, like, I'm skeptical because, you know, gambling, it's all random chance, you know, there is zero guarantee that you were gonna win big. My first experience could have been a total bust, much like it is now. See that down in the bottom left corner? My Gamora earnings are negative 900. It could have ended this way. However, if you stick around, fellas, playas, you will know that that is not the case. As we proceed through the night, my earnings are fluctuating like crazy. They're going up and down banana style. Okay. They're going up and down. And, you know, I'm like kind of feeling bad because I just used this guy's $20 to gamble. But eventually I managed to get my earnings up to $80. Yes, 80 whole buccarinos, fellas. Playas. I have to stick with calling y'all playas because that's what I address you guys as in the intro. My bad. Little slip of the tongue, little Freudian slip, if you will. Fellas, players, whatever, dude. Anyways, yeah, I get up to $80, and now I'm feeling pretty good. The dopamine is absolutely rushing through my brain cells. You know what I'm saying? Fuck, I just went broke. I gotta go get more chips. But anyways, yeah, you know, I'm starting to feel real good, so I'm making bigger bets. Now instead of betting 20 each time, now I'm betting 40 each time. And doing this strategy again, much like last time, my earnings fluctuate crazy, but you know, I managed to get up all the way to $180, okay? $180. And now over here, because the dopamine is just surging through my brain like like a crack addict hitting the crack pipe, I decide to start gambling bigger bets, making bigger bets. And it kind of ends in disaster because from $180 I go all the way down to $80. Now, during this time, however, I noticed that my reactions were becoming a bit extreme for how I normally react, right? Like, I was getting very upset. I was like, fuck! Like, I was all pissed, right? Even the guy next to me, this like 30-plus-year-old dude who I never met in my entire life, just showed up, started playing blackjack with a bunch of 20-year-olds, right? He just shows up out of nowhere. Now he's even looking at me kind of weird. because, you know, I'm taking the game way too seriously. Like, I'm there to win, you know what I'm saying? I'm not there to go broke, much like I am right now. I'm not there to go broke. I'm here to win. Yeah, I just decided to call it at that. Take the $100 I got and go home, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, we were there for a while, right? Like, initially we show up at the casino around 11:30, somewhere around there, and we were there until like 2:30, dude. We were there for a good while. You know, 2:30 comes and we're ready to head out. We kind of just, you know, get in our cars and we go over to this one apartment complex where one of my other homies, I'm not really sure, we're gonna name him Dawg. Okay, we're gonna name him Dawg. He owns this apartment. He's allowing us to stay there for the night. But here's the catch. We're not actually going to stay in his apartment because there's already way too many guys, right? Like, in total, it was probably, I want to say it was like 12 guys that was all here in this one apartment, but we weren't, because, you know, there was only so much space. We couldn't all stay there. So we decide, or no, Dog, being so polite as he is, he shows us a little spot within the actual apartment building where we can stay, and, you know, we aren't going to be bothered at all. Because this building is actually kind of interesting because I'm pretty sure the building itself is owned by the college around that area, but it, like, within this building there's a place where you can study, and, you know, typically people won't bother you, and, you know, the door locks and everything. So we had secure shelter within this place, and there was like no need to worry about anybody coming to bother us. We stayed there for the night in this little no, like, study area, I should say. We stayed there in this little study area. That was my first experience gambling. You know, I'm not gonna say that, you know, you guys gotta go out and gamble, man. It's so awesome. Because the truth of the matter is, you know, I somewhat have an addictive personality, right? Not really. I don't want to say that definitively, but, you know, I could see myself slipping into a sort of gambling addiction, right? That's kind of bad to say, but it's my own personal experience. Yours might be different. Just to be safe, I'm not a gambling advocate. However, I will make a slight disclaimer to state that later this year I will be going back to the same casino, this time with different homies, and this time hopefully getting some footage, because I forgot to mention as well that while I was there I was trying to get some footage, right? And this fat guy that works there, he's like, "Hey, no phones, no recording." And I was like, "Oh, like, okay." Like, I'll just put my phone away. Like, what was he gonna do? Was he gonna kick me out? Was he gonna take my phone? I don't know. But yeah, I stopped recording, and that was that. But next time, dude, we go there, I do actually fully intend on accumulating some footage and probably making an entire video on that. So if you guys want to see your boy go over to this casino and start gambling and post it on the channel with some meta glasses, okay, I'm gonna record. They won't even know, okay? Because my homie Popper, he had his own meta glasses, and he was wearing them while he was playing blackjack, while I was there playing blackjack, and the dealers never told him anything, dude. They only freaked out when they seen my phone. So yeah, if you guys want to see that, let me know, and I will for sure make it happen. So with all that being said, like the video, subscribe if you're brand new, turn that bell icon on so then you're informed on when Seb R. Wise goes back to the casino and gambles for y'alls. So with all that being said, I'm out this bitch.